Hi, everybody. Welcome to Conscious Conversations. I'm your host, Katie Augustyn. So I am the head of the Transformation Center, which is based in Westport, Connecticut. And at the center, in addition to the classes and workshops that we offer, I also have individual sessions, which is transformation coaching, shamanic healing, and we also offer sound baths in the backyard during the warmer months. We have a labyrinth back there. So there's all sorts of stuff going on all the time, year round. And you can check it out on our website. We're going to put up our contact info, and it's transformationcenterct.com. And on the calendar, you'll find the events. You can just register right there online. And you can contact us. I also offer free consultations, 30 minutes, so you're welcome to email or text or call for that. So thank you again for being here today. And I'm very excited that my guest tonight is Alisa St. Welcome to the show, Alisa.
Thanks, Katie. I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm glad it worked out. And you came a little distance to be here, so thank you.
Well worth it
for that. Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I do these on Zoom, but I think it's more fun in person.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we miss that belly to belly.
Yeah, because during COVID we had no choice, but now at least we have a choice.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm just going to read a little bit about you before we get started, because I haven't known Alisa for that long, but I think what she's doing is really, really interesting. So she told me that after suffering the long-term side effects of conventional cancer treatment, that Alisa found relief with the LifeWave X39 phototherapy patch. And this was something that she discovered, and she's going to tell us more about it today.
Sure.
Yeah, because I'm really curious about how that works. And what happened was she had this unexpected spiritual awakening, which led to her holistic wellness journey. And we're going to talk about that too, right?
Yes.
Okay, okay, cool. And then just recently, last year in 2023, Alisa became an independent brand partner for LifeWave, the technology that she discovered that it helped her. It's so true that I feel the same way. When I find something that works for me, that speaks to me and helps me, I always want everybody to know about it.
Of course. Of course.
So
the whole part of the fun part is allowing other people to experience what you've experienced.
Yeah. And it's like, as long as we have that mentality that it's not like, because I used to think this way, like I'm trying to fix somebody. It's not that.
No.
It's not that.
No.
It's just that we're offering it to them, right?
Correct.
Yeah. I love that. All right. So why don't we get started then?
Sure.
So I always really like to start about finding out, because I'm curious, like, how did you get into this in the first place? Like, tell us a little bit about your spiritual journey that got you here.
Sure. Well, I was raised very traditionally, so, think conventional in every sense of the word, Roman Catholic, went to church. I was kind of the odd child. I enjoyed church. Always had that curiosity and that, desire to know more about where we came from, why, all those questions that kids answer and ask. And I liked church. So I had a really busy mind as a kid. Couldn't stop it. And church for me was a place to quiet it. I love the resonance of the organ. And now we know, right, that frequency, vibration, energy, those are the keys. And so now I know that there was a healing mechanism there, and it allowed me to kind of go inward and
to connect with your...
reflect and connect. Yeah.
Wow. So without even being so conscious of that, it was almost like you just naturally went there.
Very much so. And looking back now, I can see as many times, right, when we look back at our lives, why things happened and what the meaning was for us back then and how we evolved. So I kind of went on in the traditional sense of organized religion for many years. I experienced some really deep loss and trauma in my late 30s. And I had a large support group around me. So I had friends and family and a strong church community. And so it was very supportive. And I think that's one of the benefits of that organized religion is the fellowship is there. And if you have the right environment and the right leadership, it can be very beneficial when you're going through something like that.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, it can be an individual situation, for everybody, and you got what you needed, it sounds like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But after that, I kind of started to question things. I wasn't angry at God for what I went through, but I certainly started to kind of ponder how my faith had impacted my journey and how I was able to make it through some of those difficult times. And then kind of life resumed for me. I got back up on my feet, things started to happen for me. And I think for everybody, when COVID hit, there was a stopping. It was a point where people stopped, and it gave people a good chance to reflect and to think about things. I did a lot of research. I was working from home. My eyes were kind of open to a lot of things, and for the first time, I really had a deep knowing in my heart. So for years, my spiritual connection was somewhat superficial and kind of like a bargaining chip kind of thing. You do this for me, God, and I'll kind of do this. And for the first time, I started to really rely on my discernment and my intuition, and it was so incredibly strong. It was kind of shocking and frightening, honestly. I kind of went against the grain during COVID, and it was a challenging time for me. It was a painful time.
Yeah.
But that kind of forced me into a position where I needed to kind of confront my true self and who I was, and decide, was I going to be true to that, or was I going to, do something that was against my own self and my own truth. So that kind of woke me up, and since then I've developed a much deeper, more broader sense of self, sense of awareness. I'm much less black and white, right? So I'm open to many different things, and because I opened my heart and my mind like that, synchronicities started to happen, and different things started to occur in my life, and I thought, this doesn't make any sense. Why is this happening? And I feel really strongly that we're in this universal shift of energy, and it's very much towards light and truth. And I feel like I was kind of on the front end of that.
Yeah. No, I hear you, because it feels like it's so much more accessible now.
Absolutely.
So much available to us.
Yep.
And, to me, it's like about removing layers of, what was kind of put on us as we grew up and developed. And nobody tells us this when we're younger, really.
Yep.
So, and you discovered it for yourself. Did you have a mentor or anybody, or you just
Not at all.
did it yourself?
No, I was really on an island, especially during COVID. If you weren't on board with how things were kind of going and what was expected of you, luckily I have a fantastic husband, so we, leaned on one another, but we had a lot of family and friends who couldn't understand the decisions we were making and the opinions that we had. So,
yeah, and that was a scary time. It definitely was, and I think, like what you said, it is so accurate that it's an opportunity. And a lot of people did start to question their belief system and what's possible.
Yeah, and the beauty I found was I didn't have to discard all of those years prior. I didn't have to discard the organized religion and the beliefs. I love some of the traditions, and I really find a lot of solace and comfort in those traditions. I don't agree with everything, and that's okay. And I'm learning to accept things as they are and accept people where they are. And it's just such an amazing freedom.
Yeah. I love that word, freedom. To me, that's what, I tell my clients all the time. Freedom can be just your goal. In that personal freedom sense of possibilities are endless, right?
Yes.
Yeah, no, and that's beautiful, because I think, we all gravitate towards one or more than one, but like for some people, organized religion is the perfect path. Another, it's not. But to take the best of all and mix it together, right? Because to me, it's all the same underneath.
Yes.
If you take all the ones that speak to you,
Absolutely.
or the kernel of what's what's important.
That's right. Unconditional love, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Unconditional love. Yeah, I totally believe that, because I think we are love. We come from love.
Yes, we are energy beings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's beautiful. Wow. So I know there's so much here. So that was your like aha kind of moment. Not one moment, but a little bit of a journey, and it did transform your life. It sounds like.
Absolutely. You know, I went from, I would say the first 50 years of my life, I wasn't always in fear, but my decision making stemmed from a place of fear. And unfortunately, that manifests itself in a controlling type of behavior. Fear of losing your loved ones. You want to control where they are, when they are there, how they go about their daily business. I mean, it can get really out of hand. And for me, it did. You know, it was a real strong anxiety. I never saw it that way, but now I recognize that's what it was.
Right. In hindsight, it's easier. Yeah. So do you think that contributed to your illness?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm picking up on.
Yeah, it's how we perceive the world, right? The energy that we send out, what we allow back into our heart and soul. And it's very, very damaging. Yeah, I learned the hard way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't play the victim at all. It was an absolutely blessing of a learning experience.
Well, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like it's something, like almost like a wake-up call in and of itself.
Yeah.
To really clear out what wasn't serving you.
Frankly, I was kind of shocked when I underwent the awakening in 2020 that it hadn't happened way back in 2004. That was a long time previously, but I think the stage was being set.
Yes.
And I must be a hard nut to crack, because I just need a little more digging in.
I think it takes a while.
Yes.
It does. And there's no, as we know in the spiritual realm, there's no time.
Correct. Our time is very different.
Yeah. So when did you get your cancer? Or when the diagnosis, I guess?
That was in 2005.
Okay.
I had a stage 3 breast cancer diagnosis.
Okay.
It had spread pretty far, but had stopped short of my organ system. So, and being young, I underwent conventional treatment, and it was challenging because I was strong and healthy otherwise.
Yeah.
So they really did not hold back. And so those symptoms of the treatment itself lingered for a long time. So I used to think, wow, I survived cancer. I felt so, so special. And then I realized, wait a minute, I survived that treatment, which I believe now, looking back, may have been more damaging. There's definitely something to be said for doing your research and having options. I didn't know there was any other option at the time. I didn't know I could even supplement with holistic treatment to help with the side effects. I had no idea. It was a world I'd never had no background in. So
yeah, well, a lot of people don't. I mean, that's especially back then.
Yeah.
It wasn't that long ago, but I think we've come a long way.
Yes.
Since then. So how did you discover this treatment that you? So when did you start the treatment? The LifeWave.
LifeWave was a series of kind of unexpected things that fell in my lap.
Okay.
I clicked on a Zoom, which I had no idea what the Zoom was. On Facebook, which I was never on.
Oh,
and
well, isn't that interesting how that happened? I don't know if did we put up your contact info before? I'm not sure if we did, but anyway, if we didn't, we'll put it up, because that has your website and how to find out more.
Sure,
right,
sure.
Okay, so tell me,
so
you're on
it was
Facebook.
Very interesting that I clicked on this Zoom, having no knowledge of what it was, and found myself in the midst of a conversation of like-minded people like you and I, talking about how our bodies are so wonderfully made that they are designed to heal themselves. And it's a no-brainer, and people know that when you get a cut, your body starts to heal itself, right? But we never really think about it and internalize that and take that to the next step, which is maybe we don't need the level of intervention. Certainly we need intervention if we have broken bones or an acute injury, that modern medicine is a godsend. But I think people are realizing that Eastern traditions have a lot to offer, and there's so many holistic remedies. This world is populated with plants and medicinal tinctures that could be made out of things that are here, and our bodies are designed to heal themselves. And wait a minute, things start to click, and you say, there's another way. Yeah.
So that's where it started.
Yeah. So I jumped on the Zoom, and I just resonated with everything that was being said. And having suffered for almost 18 years with all those lingering side effects.
Wow, that long.
I said, well, I might as well try it, right? I'd love to try this. Everything about it resonates with me, and so I just ordered the product and started using it.
So it was that simple in
Yeah,
a way.
it just clicked. Yeah.
Yeah. So all right. So tell us about the product then. I'm curious how it works.
Sure. Well, it is a patch, a phototherapy patch, and so people are very familiar with phototherapy. From the age of dawn, right, when the sun was discovered to have such healing and medicinal properties. We know now it helps our bodies to create vitamin D. Such a simple thing, right? Well, the phototherapy patch harnesses the power that light has in making changes in the body.
Okay.
Yep. And so the inventor was brilliant and found a way to harness the light that we emit. So most phototherapy products and modalities require a plug. And this does not, because we are the power source. We are emitting heat and light all the time, as evidenced by night vision goggles.
Yes.
And so the patch harnesses that heat and that light, reflects it back into our cells. Nothing else crosses that barrier, so there's nothing going into your body except wavelengths of light, which instruct and tell the body to increase its naturally occurring processes already. So things that are already happening but are just happening at a slower rate as we age.
Okay.
The patch just says, kick it up a notch.
So it speeds up the healing processes that would happen naturally.
Yes.
In most cases, maybe not always.
It speeds up the production of naturally occurring peptides specifically.
Okay.
And those peptides have a direct correlation to the activity of stem cells. And so that's where the magic happens.
Oh, now we're talking.
That's where the magic happens.
Okay. So those are known to repair anything, right?
Correct.
They can go anywhere in your body.
Yes. Yes. So people are familiar with stem cell injections. Typically, people get those into areas where there's a joint, and they're very effective. They tend to stay locally. Those injections are costly. They're not guaranteed. Sometimes people have to travel outside of the country to get those. So they're inaccessible to most of the general population. But those stem cells will go and repair tissue and organs, because the stem cells are pluripotent, they call them. So they can go and be whatever they want.
Yeah. Oh, I get it. Okay. So that makes sense. That's interesting. How long does it take when you start?
Sure.
So you put the patch on your skin?
Yes.
Does it matter where you put it?
So you can put it anywhere, because the effects are systemic. The stem cells are systemic. They'll activate and regenerate and start to go to the place in your body where it needs repair the most. So everyone's a little different. In addition, the time frame that it takes to have a noticeable shift is also different. So I have a handful of people who I put the patch on and had immediate relief from pretty acute pain that they'd had for some time. And then other people who take months and months and go for a blood checkup or a doctor checkup, and something's drastically different, and they say, wow, I guess things were happening that I didn't even notice.
Oh, okay, underneath.
Yeah.
Sure, that makes sense.
But it's cumulative, so the longer you wear the product, over time, the effects are cumulative.
And then at some point you say, I don't need this anymore, or
Well,
what?
when people say, do I have to wear it all the time, we say, do you brush your teeth every day? So typically people kind of fall into one of two categories. Either they're not patient enough and they don't feel anything, and they don't bother to go get any kind of measurable test of sorts, and they give up. Or they have such remarkable benefits that they say, I'm never getting off this. I mean, it's kind of like a tan. It'll fade over time, so your stem cells will become dormant again over time. Won't happen overnight, but if you continue wearing that on a daily basis, it'll continue to regenerate and keep those stem cells active, which is only to our benefit.
Okay, so my mind is going here. So if I don't have any like pain or anything, you know, quote, wrong.
Sure.
Would it like help my brain be more sharper or better memory?
Yes. So let me say two things. One is that just because we don't feel something doesn't mean something's not happening. And we know disease starts years before we see it. So we are always in need of repair. That's indisputable, right? So there's always something that those stem cells can be going to repair. And then as far as brain balancing, so the beauty of this technology is we're working with the energy and the meridians. And these are all kind of Eastern philosophies of healing, but they're also, the technology is backed by clinical studies. So we have measurable results. And one of the many, many clinical studies that have been done show a brain balancing after wearing the patch just for a few weeks. So the brain can be imaged and it can indicate inflammation by certain colors. And then after time, the inflammation is decreased and the coherence is much better and increased. So you're talking improved memory, improved mood, recall, better focus, less brain fog, that chemo brain that I used to have. So all of those things are
So that helped you? with that?
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. So then why is this not used for more
Sure.
people?
Sure. Well, it may be one of the, one of the reasons is because it's a belly-to-belly product. So early on, this product, the inventor had to make a decision of how he would market this. He had great success in the beginning years of the company. The company is 20 years old. And the first patch was actually produced for the Navy SEALs at the request of the Department of Defense. So the inventor worked for them. They wanted natural energy for their missions, and that was successful. The patches were tested on the U.S. Olympic swim team, and they did very well. So well, in fact, that the anti-doping agency, world and U.S., had to look into that and confirm that indeed nothing had passed through the barrier, the skin barrier. There was nothing in the bloodstream. When the stem cell reactivation patch came out, the X39, that's when everything exploded and went viral.
So that version is one of the, it's newer.
Yes. So
I got you.
that was in 2020. That was patented. And I just think part of it is people are more open. People are really searching for new remedies to make themselves feel better. They're kind of done with side effects and pharmaceuticals. And I think a big part of it is just that shift in energy.
Yeah.
It's kind of a new world that's coming. So
Yeah. So it's starting to take off. It's growing.
oh, it's more than started.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's exploding. Actually, the company went from like 20 million to 400 million this year, and expected to go over 600 million next year.
Oh, wow.
It's exploding.
And they're going to keep selling it and distributing it through individuals?
Yes. Yep. It's not something that you could really put on a shelf. People will pass it by. I know if I saw something like that on the internet, I'd say, it's too good to be true.
Right.
If I share it with you, you know me, you trust me, that I'm not going to tell you something that isn't true or experience that I haven't had. And it's building connection in communities.
I see.
Yeah.
So you need like an advisor to kind of introduce you to it and tell you about it.
Yeah, we have a strong community, like a Facebook community, where you can hear and talk to other people that are using the product, and the testimonies and the Zooms really connects you to other people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. So you've been doing this for a couple of years now?
I've been doing it for only 7 months.
Oh, right, because it was 2023, you said.
Yep, 7 months.
So I think when I first met you, and you mentioned that you had stopped doing what you were doing before, you had a different job, right?
Yeah, so I was in the corporate world during COVID.
Uh-huh.
You know, got sent home to work and started researching, started learning, struggled with, you know, the mandates and everything.
Yeah.
And then when it came time to go back to work, I did, but my
Yeah.
priorities had changed. My security
Okay.
level of security was it was very different, you know.
Well, like you said, you kind of discover things about yourself and about other.
Yeah, what I discovered was more compelling than keeping a secure job with benefits.
Right.
So it was that compelling.
Right. Wow. Yeah, that tells you a lot.
Yeah.
Your priorities shifted big time.
Yes, very much so.
Okay, so now this is your life.
Yes, yeah. I feel like I have a mission. I can really make a difference now. I've always been a helper, you know, in my employment roles. I've always been that go-to person, make the magic happen behind the scenes. And so having the privilege to work with people and learn about their journey and what might benefit them it's great. I'm making connections, the kind of thing I didn't have time for when I was working all the time.
That's wonderful, isn't it?
I love it.
Yeah,
Yep.
no, I totally agree with you. And just knowing that you're making a difference and that, like what you're doing is, yeah, it's supporting other people, but not the way you used to. Like, it's different.
Right. It's very different. It's allowing them to kind of reflect on their own life and their own journey and decide what their next steps are. You know,
Take charge of their
technology
life.
may or may not be for them.
Yeah.
But the important part is that they're aware of it and they know it's here, and you know,
Right.
when
And
it's right time for them.
Yeah, and it may spark something
available.
else that's
Exactly.
helpful for them.
And they may know someone who's really in need of
Mm-hmm.
health improvement, and so that's the beauty of it as well. I can't touch the people they know
Right.
without them learning about it and saying, "Oh, you know, it might not be right for me, but I know someone who might really
So
benefit."
there's a ripple effect
It's amazing
there.
ripple effect.
Yeah. So what would you suggest? Like, what's the process? Somebody contacts you first, and then you talk to them.
Yes.
How it works?
Yep. I
Okay.
would kind of talk with them, ask them a lot of questions, and kind of see what their needs are, because there's also a business opportunity that's exploding right now, and so many people are concerned about their health, but many people are also concerned about their finances,
Yeah.
and so there's many ways that
Multiple
this
benefits.
might help them. Yep.
Uh-huh. Okay. Well, so let's put up Alisa's slide one more time, and they can just contact you directly.
Yes.
And that there's also a website there that I think has information
Yes.
for people.
Yes. It has all the product
Yeah.
information.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, this was great.
Yeah,
Well, thank you
thank
so
you.
much for sharing all of this. It's
You're
really,
welcome.
there's so much out there that's available that we're still not aware of, right?
There are many things that are coming down the pike.
Yeah, I feel that. It's like it's just things are opening up in so many ways, and you know, a lot of us we don't know what we don't know,
Exactly.
even though we're learning.
I know, and I feel like a kid in a candy shop sometimes. Just
Yeah.
it's so exciting.
Yeah, and I'm
open.
glad you're part of our holistic health practitioner group now,
Yes, I love
the
it.
TLC that Beth Lee started.
It gives me access to lots of fun things.
Yeah, I
fun
know.
stuff.
I love it too. And that's you can Google just Tribe TLC and you can find out
Yes.
all about that. A lot of events. Yeah.
Actually, I'm having a patching party on March 19th. You can find that event
Oh.
there on that website as well, and RSVP if you'd like to attend a in-home kind of personal party atmosphere where people kind of learn about the product and get to try it on.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Do little demos?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, awesome. Well, I'm going to look for that. Well,
Excellent.
Thank you so much again for being
Thank
here,
you,
Lisa.
Katie.
It's a really nice conversation. See you next time.